Hello, everybody. I'm now on my way back home with Guy. We're on our way. I'm going to go home, and I had to stop by the store real quick to get my brother some juice because I didn't do it last night because my foot was killing me. And by the time I finished, I was done. I was done. I might do another one today just because I like the punishment, you know. I might. I just got to get home and see, you know, I want to get the stuff in the house and see what he wants to eat tonight. And if he wants chili, then I probably won't. If he wants that pulled pork, I probably will. I'm not going to do a big order like before. That was just over. There was big, higher expectations that I could actually. Well, I did it, but it wasn't. It was too much. It was too much for somebody like me. And what I mean by somebody like me is like when you do anything, you shouldn't start off, you know, at top speed. You should start off maybe a little slower, get a little swing of it and everything like that. So I might do one today, maybe even two. I don't know. I gotta see how I feel. I feel fine. I feel great actually. I mean, my house is all done. I just need to mop my kitchen floor, my living room floor, clean the bathroom, and do I have any clothes downstairs? I think I got like one load of clothes, maybe, but that's okay. That's okay. I can get those done, and you know, it doesn't take nothing but throw them in. People act like, well, my family act like, oh, you're gonna do clothes. What? You don't do anything to them. You just put them in the washer, put the soap, and put the fabric softener in. You go down there, you put them into the dryer, put the sheet in, you take them out, you fold them, and you put them in your drawer, and you go about your business. It's not that difficult. I remember back in the day when I was a kid, my mom, she had a wringer washer. It was not like back in the way. Yeah, it was. It was really old-fashioned wringer washer. We were not rich as a child. I did not grow up rich. But I never felt poor. Never felt poor. My mom made sure I never felt poor. I remember Christmases as a child. It was just like fantastic. And I don't know that I got so much, but I know that I was loved. You know, I knew I was loved, and I knew everything my mom did for me, she did it out of love, and she did it for my brother the same. You know, my mom really loved us. She went to work every single day, and you know, when she come home, she was tired. She did what she had to do, but she did it out of love. And that's the thing I think people don't understand. You don't have to have a lot of money. You don't have to be able to spend thousands and thousands of dollars to show love. You just have to exhibit it. Probably when I was a kid, I never realized, I never felt poor, honest to God. I knew, now growing up, I know how hard my mom had to struggle. My mom wasn't a professional. She wasn't a nurse. She didn't, you know, split the atom. She didn't, you know, nothing like that. My mom worked in a drug warehouse and an order picker, okay? And that's what she did. You know, we didn't live in, no. We lived in public housing for a minute. Well, no, the last part of her life, we moved into public housing. And, you know, it helped because, see, at that time, I no longer got Social Security because I got Social Security because my dad died. And, you know, I no longer got that. So the only money my mom got from me, well, not from me, she didn't get anything from me anymore, but she, my brother, you know, he'd help out. And my grandma died in 1980. She died in 1980. Well, then my mom didn't have that help either. So my mom was doing it. She was doing everything herself, you know, but my mom was fantastic with money. My mom was like, I don't know how to say, you know, I could never be the woman my mom was because I could see I don't like really a lot lot of hard work. And I know I'm lazy. I know I am. And my mom, you know, she had a heart attack the day she was getting ready to go to work. And she was sick. My mom was going through a lot of illnesses that I didn't even know because she didn't let me know everything. And, you know, my mom got me up. It got me graduated out of high school. And she gave me all she could. So when I think about Christmas, you know, and I don't know how my kids will remember me. I know how I remember my mom. Was my mom perfect? By far, no. No, my mom was not perfect. My mom made mistakes. My mom made probably quite a few mistakes. But my mam didn't do anything to me to hurt me. She never ever tried to hurt me. She did what she had to do. Again, was she perfect? No. My mom was not perfect. I don't think there are any perfect people. We don't come with instructions. We just do what we think is the right thing to do. But Christmas time always brings me back to thinking about my mom and how much I miss her. And, you know, I lost my mom when I was 19. So I'm like, you know, I haven't had a mom for over, 42 years. Yeah, 41 years. And it's a long time. It's really a long time. And, you know, I miss it. I miss, you know, I sometimes in my mind say, what would it have been like if my mom, you know, if my mom didn't get sick and had a heart attack, and, you know, if my mom would have lived. And, you know, I don't know what life would have been like, because I lost that connection, that female, you know, I mean, I never really had sisters I had half sisters, but we were never close. The only person in my life that I've been close to besides my mom was my brother. And my grandmother, yeah, but she, you know, her and I had our issues. But I loved her. You know, I felt bad when she passed. But my grandmother had dementia and probably other things too, you know. But my mom was steady in my life. I mean, you know, even though I had to go live with my dad, and that's one of the things I always kind of like resented, that I had to do that. But I guess it wasn't an easy decision for my mom to do. But for maybe in her mind, it was a smart decision, because she knew she probably couldn't at that time afford to take care of me, you know, the way that a child needs to be taken care of. And that takes a lot to admit, because a lot of parents, again, it didn't turn out well for me, but I don't think she even knew about my dad. I don't think she knew, and she didn't know a lot of the things. I would hope she didn't. But I think, like, parents, you gotta love your kids enough to try to do the right thing for them. And, you know, like, I guess she figured he was still alive. And, you know, and he had money, and it was not a good situation to put a child in. You know, even to move in with a stepmother is not a great situation. It's never a good situation. But it did, and I did. But I always remember Christmas. I remember my mom going shopping and picking up things that she thought I wanted. And I remember it was always just the right thing I wanted. You know, it was like, wow, you got me this. Wow, man, thanks, you know. And I remember her making Christmas cookies. And it's why, like, at Christmas time, it was so hard for me to not have any of those things. It's almost like going into somebody else's life, because that's not my life. Food is not my life, but it's just the memories of what was my life. Because my life is so different than where it was with my mom. I've even when I got married, I always felt kind of like I was sitting back looking at other people, somebody else's life, because it couldn't be mine, because it was nothing like I grew up. You know, I always felt like I was a visitor in my own life. Because with my life, I mean, it wasn't perfect. My life was never perfect. And people say, well, why do you always say that? Because it's true. My life has never been perfect, even as a kid, I never knew what I wanted to do. I always battled with depression. I always battled with a lot of issues, teasing. I was a little shit. And I was a shit, and I was an asshole, and I was teased. So, I got what I get. I got what I gave, and I gave what I got. And, but when I got married and I had kids, I tried to recreate, some of the things, the good parts of my life. Not the bad, because there was plenty of bad I could have recreated, but I didn't want to do that. I never wanted to give my kids less than the best that I had. And, maybe a lot of the decisions I made in my life weren't the best. I made a lot of mistakes, you all know, I've told you about gambling. That was always an issue with me, and it isn't anymore, but it could be, but it's not. And, I've always had an eating disorder, and never was really, even to this day, I struggle with it all the time. It's like, okay, maybe I might be doing good today. And, even when I was doing my best, I always thought this could end at any time, in which it was true. You have to be honest with yourself. Unless you conquer it, and some addictions you can't. You just got to work at it every single day. And even if you mess up, go back and try some more. Don't give up. But what I'm saying is, when I was, even my kids, I didn't want to pass on some of the eating behaviors I had, but I did. Because, of course, I bought the cookies, I bought the candies, I bought but I did it, again, I was thinking, I was giving my kids what my mom gave to me, which my mom did buy me a lot of that stuff. My mom always gave me soda. I remember we always had candy, cookies. I remember my mom would bring in these little Debbies. It's how I remember the little Debbies so fondly in my head, is because I remember getting them as a child. One of the good things I remember is the love my mom had for cats. My mom loved cats. My mom took care of cats. We had so many cats at one night. It was ridiculous, And I know my mom knew we liked them, and she liked the cats. And, it was like, my mom tried to make everybody happy. Sometimes you can't, but she tried. Then you see some parents who don't even give a shit. It's all about them. I never understood that. I've always, even when I was gambling, even then, when I would go bingo or whatever I did, I tried to do what my kids needed first. Yeah, I did go to bingo, but I always made sure my kids had what they needed. Did I toot my own horn? Yeah, because I know it's what I did. I wanted my kids to have the best, because I thought growing up I had the best. But now looking back, I know the struggles my mom had. I struggle, and even the changes that are going on in my life now, they're great. A lot of things are going on that it's hard. It's really hard, and I still have so much that my mom didn't have, But the one thing I don't have is my mom. And what I would do to get my mom back, it would be, but it's never going to happen. But if I had one wish for Christmas, that's what I would have, is to have my mom back. Just for a day, or even an hour, just to say, yeah, I got a mom. My mom's going to visit, or, I would love to say that, okay? But anyways, you all have a happy day, and I hope you enjoy your day. I plan to enjoy mine somehow, some way, and take care, be safe, and stay warm. It's going to get cold. Bye. So those birds are waiting for you. See them up there? Those birds are waiting, because I put out food every day. Those little buzzards are out there. I'll put some out when I get in there. I just gotta, I put some out and I wait like an hour and then come out and I put for the little birds, because those take everything. So talk to you later. Bye-bye.